Welcome, curious listeners, to another episode of Beyond the Unknown. I'm your host, Jolie,
And I'm Quinn.
and today we're venturing into the intriguing and controversial world of the Raelians, a cult-like organization that's obsessed with UFOs and cloning. Join us as we uncover the facts behind this secretive community and get inside scoop to what happens to members after death.
I'm super excited for this one because I am obsessed with cults and watching cult stuff on like Netflix documentaries, so I'm buckled in.
And this was one that I have never heard of really before until this summer, and I'll kind of get into the story of how I learned about them and why I'm even covering them.
Okay, cool. I'm excited.
Let's give you a little backstory though.
Okay.
The Raelians are formerly known as the Raelian Movement, and they're a UFO-based organization that was founded in the 1970s by Claude, a man from France, and the organization has since grown to over 100,000 followers all over the globe.
That's huge.
So it's pretty sizable, yeah. The Raelian movement's core beliefs center on the idea that humans were created by these advanced extraterrestrial beings called the Elohim through genetic cloning known as intelligent design, and they believed in the eventual return of the Elohim to Earth. Elohim is often referred to as those from the sky by the Raelians. However, when I looked up this Hebrew word, I can only ever find it referencing gods or deities. So, if anyone speaks Hebrew, please confirm.
Not me, so I'm no help there.
Aside from cloning, the Raelians' main mission is to build an embassy where the Elohim could visit the Earth in the year 2035, which, clock's ticking, it's not that far away.
Well, I feel like in the 1970s, 2035 probably felt like not 100 years, but like just so far-fetched. And now it's like, okay, that's like a few years away.
It's like me talking about 2075. Ugh.
Yeah.
This embassy is supposed to be a hub where they can welcome the Elohim, but also where they can promote the Raelian organization and boost tourism to the lucky area where it's built. Last year, the Raelians unveiled their multi-year project plan to survey and build the embassy. Currently, the group is trying to pitch their embassy plans to 50 different cities across the world in hopes that one will allow them to build it. Could you imagine? They're pitching to places like Miami and stuff. Could you imagine Miami being like, this is it. We need that.
You know what? A trendy city like Miami, I could see it.
I guess.
Just kidding. No, it's absurd.
On the surface, this group seems harmless and potentially even modern with their beliefs of free love, meaning members can be with anyone they want to be.
Pretty much sounds like Gen Z.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's pretty cool that they're open with like any type of like gender or like relationship.
Oh, I didn't take it like that. Okay. I did not take it like as in person can't be. I took it as in like non-monogamous relationships. And
No,
like how,
that too.
Okay.
Homosexual, heterosexual, polyamorous, all of that.
I meant it more like the no non-committal thing. So no, I did not mean any other disrespect in any other way.
Well, no, they're open to all of it, all kinds.
Okay.
But some members in cult-like fashion have taken this too far and have been caught in horrible acts like pedophilia. But that's not where I'm taking this story today, surprisingly.
Thank God.
Yeah. I'm actually going to just talk about the history of the Raelians and some other controversial topics that I think are way more interesting.
Okay.
So you may be asking, who is Claude and how did he manage to become the prophet of a UFO-based movement?
I mean, I'm vaguely wondering, Claude, who are you?
Claude.
Claude.
Well, Claude was a French man born in Embark, a town in France, famous for creating Catholic prayer beads.
That's very random.
Yeah. His father was not present in his life, so he was raised by his mother, aunt, and grandmother. When he was just 16 years old, he left his hometown of Embark for Paris, where he was discovered by a music scout while singing on the streets, and then he later changed his name to a stage name, super different, Claude Seller.
Seller? Claude Seller? What? Why?
Maybe just a bit fancier, although I would disagree.
Yeah, I think the other names sound cooler.
Yeah. So with his music career, he became somewhat successful, creating multiple records, but when his career didn't skyrocket to mega fame like he had hoped, he decided to try and fulfill his childhood dream of becoming a race car driver at the age of 27. And for those that don't know, I'm 27, and the biggest dream I have achieving is this podcast. So I guess I'm not really, chasing life.
I guess not. This guy's doing literally everything. Good for him.
Yeah, he's killing it. And I should also add, by the time that he's 27, he's also married and has 2 children. So that's a pretty big career pivot when you have that level of responsibility.
Yeah.
Since Claude had no money to buy a race car to fulfill his race car driving dreams,
It's kind of important.
yeah, he made his own auto magazine called Autopop and quickly became super popular in France. In this magazine, he would write reviews about cars, and in return for ad space, he would ask for a car to use as one that he could use within race car driving. And big companies like Audi gave him one for a racing season. So it kind of worked out for him.
Yeah, it actually did. That's wild.
Yeah. However, in December of 1973, his dreams of becoming a race car driver changed when the so-called Elohim came. When Claude was in the mountains of France, he noticed a spaceship in the distance. As he approached it, a staircase descended from the ship, and a human-like figure, which we now know as the Elohim, walked out and approached him. Claude asked the creature if it spoke French. Yeah, naturally. That's the first thing I would ask.
Outrageous. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm sure that's the most universal language.
To which it responded that it speaks all languages of the world. Thank God, or else that conversation would have been cut short.
Yeah.
The creature, or the Elohim, then told Claude all about his past, which surprised him because he had never met this thing before. The creature then explained that it is the Elohim, and Claude's name is actually Rael, and that Rael is the Elohim's son, who is conceived with a human, so Rael's mother. So that means that Rael is half divine, half human.
Okay.
Pretty big role to
Kind of
fill.
a big deal. Yep.
Yeah. The Elohim then told Rael that his purpose was to spread the word that the Elohim are actually the creators of Earth and all living things, and they're planning a return to Earth in 2035 for a big visit.
A big visit, a big party.
Yeah, block party.
Everyone bring a dish.
So that began Claude's journey as a prophet named Rael, trying to convince the people on Earth to prepare for the Elohim's visit and educate them on the Elohim's creations and philosophies. But this wasn't the last time that he met these outer-worldly divine beings. The second time that Rael encountered the Elohim was on October 7th, 1975, where they actually brought him to their planet. There, Rael was able to meet his half-brothers. Can you guess who they are? Because their names you'd know.
How? How would I know who his random half-brothers are on another planet by an alien life form? I don't have any guesses.
Well, get ready. His half-brothers are Jesus,
Stop.
Muhammad, and Buddha.
Okay, so from all the big
From all the
religions.
religions.
Yeah.
Those are his
He's
half-brothers
related.
because they're, of divine nature as well.
God.
According to Rael, they all have the same father, the Elohim, but with different human mothers.
Oh.
So kind of like you and I, because we're half-sisters.
So are we each half divine, or is only one of us half divine?
We're definitely both half-divine.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
While on the Elohim planet, they apparently poked Rael with a syringe-like object in the center of his forehead to help clone him.
Ouch.
Yeah. Remember this information later on because it'll be important, okay?
Okay, noted.
After these encounters with the Elohim, Rael really took on his role as the last prophet of mankind by exclusively wearing all white and trying to convert as many people as possible to the movement. I don't think the Elohim ever told him to wear all white, by the way, so this is just like a fashion choice that he stuck with pretty hard.
I mean, I feel like white clothing does for some reason get associated with like the divine and like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But the way he takes it, opposite direction. I've seen many videos and pictures, and he's wearing a sci-fi looking costume, really trying to play into this like alien being thing. But then other days when he doesn't have that, I guess, like pressed and ready to go, he wears anything that's fucking white. Could be like a white hoodie, like white splash pants. So some days he looks like a UFO leader, and other days he looks like a kid on the playground.
Splash pants. I can't. Oh my goodness, this guy. The story.
He also wears a Raelian symbol around his neck, which is what the Elohim told him about. So I'm going to let you guess. I love this guessing game. I'm going to let you guess what symbols they use to create the Raelian symbol. And I'll give you a hint, really big hint. It's two that you would have seen before, and they're used by other religions. And one of them may have also been reused by the Nazi regime.
I'm going to guess it's like a combination of like a cross and obviously a swastika because of Nazis. I don't know if I'm right on the first one though.
Close. Yeah, you definitely got it on the second one. It's a swastika. The first one, Star of David.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't that a little bit like Star of David? I'm sorry for being so not
For
aware.
Judaism.
Yes, and the swastika is literally like the Holocaust.
Well, the swastika was used by the Nazis, but it's also been used by other religions, I think in like the Sikh community, where it's a symbol of peace.
Oh, okay,
so that's
okay.
their rationales. They're trying to say, no, it's actually a symbol of peace. But obviously it sparked considerable controversy and misunderstanding because of the association with Nazis. Yeah. Since then, many of its supporters wear a variation of the logo, which is a swirl in the center of the star, rather than a swastika. But hardcore believers still support the OG relic. And of course, on the Raelian website, I think it's like Raelian.org or rail.org, they still use like the real logo as well.
I take issue of putting the Star of David together with the swastika, even if it can sometimes mean peace. I think those two things together is just, that's awful.
After what has unfolded in history, yeah, I think we just don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But that's not all the organization is known for. In fact, that's one of its lesser controversial aspects.
Oh, okay, great. Where are we going? Yeah, clearly.
I'm taking you on an outer worldly journey right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
The organization is often dubbed as a sex cult.
Of course it is. Of course that's where this is going. I can't. Okay.
Because of the group's controversial sexual practices and beliefs.
I keep cutting you off because this is getting more outrageous.
No, I love
every
it.
New plot
I
point.
wanted this.
Yeah. Okay.
The not so controversial part that I like is that obviously they advocate for free love. People are able to engage in relationships with other people regardless of their like gender or sexual orientation. Mm-hmm. They're pro-polyamorous, I guess. I think no religion should dictate you're not, but obviously people should have a choice. And they encourage members to explore their sexuality since they believe that, this is like a major part of your life, whereas other religions seem to like really say, don't do that. Like that's bad. Shame on you.
That's true. That's definitely a positive thing.
Yeah.
Like for what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. But then they have some different views where they think that being polyamorous is better because typical monogamous relationships can lead to problems over time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's more controversial bits. Like the prophet Rael created an angel system of beautiful women because, as the Raelians say, although they love everyone, they prefer people to be surrounded by those of great beauty.
Oh my goodness.
So, in 1998, Rael created the Order of Rael's Angels, an order exclusively of women that are prepared to receive the extraterrestrials when they land. So they're going to act as hostesses, companions, and lovers to the alien visitors. And this was apparently at the request of the Elohim and not Rael. He's just following orders. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds like Charlie's Angels. Like, this is absurd.
Yeah. It's probably after it was out too.
Yeah, probably.
The prophet Rael has many angels that he selects, which he then chooses based on looks. So if you didn't guess it already, all angels are in a relationship with Rael.
Of course they are.
But there's a colored feather system that they can wear to indicate their relationship status further. So for example, some girls will wear a pink feather around their neck to show that they're open to relationships with others outside of just Rael or the Elohim. Whereas some will wear a white feather to say that they're just in a relationship with the prophet and the Elohim. I remember the Elohim's like his dad.
So they're basically, yeah, okay.
Gross.
Again, I follow you.
Yeah. So yeah, a man who started a group, who claims he's of divine nature, he's on a mission to change the world, and he can be in a relationship with as many women as he wants. Sounds like a cult.
Yeah, like every cult literally has the same recipe, the same shenanigans that go on. Like, no matter what the premise of it started as, I don't get how they're not more obvious to people. Like,
I know. But there's more. Every year, these angels have to get photos taken of themselves and then are judged by the prophet himself. And if he thinks they've like gained too much weight, don't worry. He'll give you the best advice on how to lose it and look your best.
What a shit.
Yeah. And one of the angels is Rael's wife, who's an ex-ballerina dancer who he married when she was just 16 years old.
Oh, gross. I hate that about cults. There's always so much like, basically pedophilia as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll move on from that and talk about something else. Rael founded his movement in France, but he moved the organization's headquarters to Quebec, Canada in the 1990s after having problems with the French tax agency because they accused the group of sexual immorality.
And Quebec just welcomed him with open arms? Great.
Ben oui.
Oh, God. That makes me mad.
In 1995, while in Canada, the group created UFO Land, which has the group's main headquarters when they were based in Canada. At UFO Land, Raelians would visit from all over the world for a 2-week period where they would have seminars and sensual meditation.
Sensual meditation? What?
This was a practice followed by Raelians to help them further develop their sensuality and to fully experience life and to reach cosmic orgasm that will help them illuminate the mind and help them reach the infinite, whatever that means.
Oh, this is getting better and better. It honestly just sounds like some old perv's like desires, really.
Yeah, he's a horny old guy. Yeah. In 2003, UFO Land and the organization moved their headquarters to Switzerland due to the controversy received after announcing Baby Eve.
Who is Baby Eve? Who is this? I can't even begin to guess. Is it Cher?
I'm so glad you asked. Eve was born in December of 2002, and apparently she's the first clone ever created by Clonaid, a group founded by Rael and a chemist named Brigitte Boisselier to progress the organization's goal of eternal living.
Oh.
So Clonaid's basically a group that was founded and created by Raelians, but they moved it outside of the Raelians. But it's just a group to clone people.
That's slightly terrifying.
Baby Eve was never identified and claims were not verified. Yet the group still holds to their claims and went further to say that they've created more successful clones, but will not release the information of these children because they're worried the government will take them away.
Oh,
Valid,
okay.
if it's
Sure. Mm-hmm.
true. And it's really hard to find pricing, but I found on Wikipedia that Clone8 charges up to $200,000 US for its cloning services.
So, like, are you cloning yourself? Like, you're making a baby of yourself?
Yep.
Okay.
But they'll also make babies for people who can't conceive, people who are dying and want to live on. And I'll kind of get into that a little bit later about their beliefs on cloning.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I guess I will right now. I want to jump back to their belief on eternal living since I didn't explain that well. But the Raelians don't believe in the afterlife the same as many other religions do. They believe that after death, you should come back as a clone of your previous self, but with the ability to live in that body for eternity thanks to scientific innovation.
But what if you died, like, before the scientific innovation happened?
No, that's okay. You can still get cloned. And this doesn't make sense to me. Somehow, once you get cloned, you will live forever as that clone. But unless this is Twilight, like, why are you growing up as a baby, then staying, like, what, as a perfect adult age? Or are you just turning into a raisin and, like, living as that raisin form for thousands of years?
You just stay a baby. You're just a baby forever. Like an adult
I don't really
baby.
get that, but apparently you live as your eternal, you live as yourself for eternity.
Okay.
So the question is, do all Raelian members become clones? And is this legit? Well, I can't answer the second part because the supposed clone children are not true or still hidden away. I can tell you that they are seriously trying to clone their members. Earlier, I told you the events that unfolded when Rael visited the Elohim planet. Do you remember what they were?
No. Wait, what?
Remember when I told you?
Oh, to remember. Yes. Oh my God. No, so much has happened that I actually don't. Like so much has transpired since then.
Oh, it's okay. Because this might click your memory.
Okay.
I did some digging online and I found one website, like so far into the deep web, that mentions what happens to Raelian members after they die, or what they supposedly think happened.
Okay.
According to this site, new initiates sign a contract that permits a mortician to cut out a piece of bone from their forehead, their third eye, after death, and send it in the mail, packed in ice, to Rael himself, who will then take it to the Elohim. However, the website said it is not recorded whether this procedure has ever been carried out.
Okay.
But I know that it's true.
How?
At least the forehead cutting piece, because a friend of mine named Emma has an uncle who was a former Raelian member, and this happened to him when he passed away.
What?
This is how I found out about the Raelian group, because I'd never heard of them before. We were camping this summer, and somehow it got brought up that her uncle was a part of this cult, and so we egged her on to tell us more. And it turns out that her uncle was a member of this group. I'm actually going to read you my text message because she gave me a bunch of information.
And she's cool with that?
Yeah.
Thanks, Emma.
Yeah. Thank you, Emma, for this. Big lifesaver.
This is wild.
So her uncle grew up super religious, but when he got a science degree, he no longer believed what was in the Bible. And then when he retired later on in life, he had apparently way too much time on his hands and was always at the computer. So he was always like researching and doing stuff related to Raelianism. He was always just like looking into Raelianism and understanding it further and really kind of bought into it. He thought it was more realistic than what he had learned when he was younger because unlike the Bible, Raelianism could explain things that the Bible couldn't, like how man could walk on water and all of these kind of like godly or very different things. And at the end of his life, he got cancer. But because of his beliefs, he thought that he didn't need modern medicine to survive.
Oh, no.
So he ended up drinking like celery juice and kind of getting into that stuff. And in around 2020 or 2021, he ended up passing away. And a lot of the family knew, like before he passed away, that he was really into like this group and had talked about polygamy, but no one really knew if he actually engaged in it because he was married to a woman that wasn't into polygamy.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the extent of it, and he would just talk about his beliefs a lot. But when he passed away, a lot more stuff came up. And I don't have all of the details on it, but essentially, I think they were contacted by the Raelian group out of Montreal. So there must be like a headquarter or some like main location per country that they operate in.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that they need to take his body, or his body had to get sent somewhere. And they didn't get any other details other than like this was his wish, I think. So when they got the body back, so they could have a funeral, they did an open casket, and apparently there was a square cut out of his forehead. And that was it. Like they had it was cut out, but they stitched it back. And no one knew what had happened. Like they didn't get any details as of like why this happened, what did they do, what did they take. So it was insane. And my friend's aunt also started like noticing or really looking at the bank statements and seeing like a lot of money has been going to this organization. What I didn't mention before was that to be a Raelian member, I've seen online that they want you to donate 10% of your annual income. But this money seemed to be more than the 10% and likely kind of like installments or payments going towards his fucking cloning.
Oh my God. I'd be so freaking mad.
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
I still don't get how they could just request his body, cut out a chunk of skull and send it back. Like being able to do that, like you have to be somewhat organized. Like, I don't know. That just seems wild.
Yeah, and I have no idea like what kind of contract was signed and what was sent to the family, if it was like threatening, like you have to do this was his wish. I don't have that level of detail, but I do know that this has happened to a group that does not believe in this organization, and they're so confused as to what the hell just happened.
That's nuts. I can't believe you didn't tell me this already. Were you just saving this for the
Yes,
story?
I was saving this.
That's wild.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I wrapped it up to. I should have like a way better tie because there's so much more that this organization has going on that just seems outrageous, and other like random controversial aspects, like its other sub-organization called Clitorade, but I'm not even going to get into that.
I'm guessing that has something to do with clitoris.
Yes, it does. Oh it does, yeah.
Oh,
but
man.
Maybe that's another time, another story.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys for kind of popping in the end of our episode. But if you're listening to this, this is actually Jolie and Quinn from the future.
Yeah.
Or no, we're still from the past.
I'm confused now. But basically what Jolie's trying to say is we had stopped recorded, we had completed this episode, and then something super interesting just happened, so we hopped back on.
Yeah, so when I was doing research for this, after learning what had happened to my friend's uncle, I couldn't find anything online for the longest time relating to what happened to his forehead and in explaining like why they did that and if it was even like a normal Raelian practice. So I emailed them, and I emailed them pretty vaguely to be like, I knew someone who had this happen to them and they passed away, and I'm really curious now, what can I do to have the same thing done? Super vague, thinking that they might be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like trying to conceal it.
But when we wrapped up this episode, literally I just got an email back from them. And me being inconspicuous, I just spelt my name with an E at the end. So
that'll really throw them off.
So I'll read you the email reply. Hi, my name is Giselle, and I'm a Raelian, and I live in Toronto. I'm sorry for the delay in replying to your request. No worries, Giselle. This was like icing on the cake.
Yep.
To receive a request from you regarding the removal of the frontal lobe bone to keep some DNA samples for one day, once the scientists on Earth reached the knowledge and technology to be able to recreate an individual, which is called human cloning. Everything I've read, including Clonaid, Baby Eve, everything says that they have, apparently to their knowledge, have been doing it for a while. So I'm very surprised by this email response saying like when that technology happens.
I think Giselle's going to get fired because Giselle probably shouldn't have let on to the fact that they haven't done it yet. But anyways.
Yep. But it answers some questions I have. So the next line, we have found a funeral home in Montreal who is aware about our procedures and can provide this service according to our very specific requirements. All Raelians who wish to have this procedure done have to have a contract signed with the funeral home and pay the fees to them. Which makes sense because earlier when I said my friend's uncle had been sent, his body had been sent to Montreal, I said, well, maybe that was like a headquarter, or maybe they were just arranging stuff through people in Montreal. But it seems like there is one specific place in Montreal that will kind of offer this. Maybe everyone else is like, you're out to lunch, so no.
And maybe the funeral home is owned by Raelians.
Yeah, very well could be. The rest of the email is just asking, like, if I'm aware of their philosophy, have I read Rael's message, like, linking me to their website and some, like, resources I can find. And then they also want to know, like, why I'd personally want to have this done so they can better process my request. But I'm not going to read all of that. And instead, I will just put this in our show notes on the website so everyone can read it.
I can't get over the timing. We had literally just wrapped up recording. And sorry, when did you send this email again? Like how long ago?
I guess it was mid-recording because I got it at 6:40 p.m.
Oh, okay. But either way, crazy timing.
Insane. So not only are Raelians into extraterrestrials and cloning, apparently they're also psychic.
Yeah. They felt their spidey senses were tingling.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now we've got their message out into the universe for anyone who wants to join and wants this done. Apparently Montreal got the hook up.
Over the years, the Raelians have faced skepticism, criticism, and of course, legal challenges in various countries due to their unconventional beliefs and practices. Yet, they remain active, with reported followers all over the world. The Raelians' blend of science fiction, unconventional spirituality, and beliefs in extraterrestrial creators make them one of the most unique and controversial cults in the world today. Well, thanks all for joining us on another episode of Beyond the Unknown. If you have a story you'd like to share, like the one you heard today, please email us at moody.mediaprod@gmail.com. You can reach out on Instagram or our website, and who knows, your story might be featured in an upcoming episode.
All of our sources for this episode can be found on our website, beyondtheunknownpod.com. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a review.
Until next time, listeners, stay curious and remember that the unknown is always just beyond the shadows.
Bye!